How do you cope when the pieces of your life have been washed away?
Makes your heart hurt a little to see some of the really valuable, important things that are ruined.
The Geralds had only been in their new home for 6 months.
And so we moved it, fixed it up really nice, and had just gotten the last of the projects finished.
They were out of town, and they got a phone call from their son they'll never forget.
About 4 o'clock in the morning and said, "Dad, do you know what's going on down here?" And we said, "No." He said, "It's another Harvey."
The water took away most of what they have, but among the debris and the wreckage, they salvaged something more important than material items: memories.
So we saved, what, 95%? Probably 95% of thousands of pictures we were able to save. So that's a miracle.
Down the street at Mark Jackson's house, flooding is limiting the cleanup process. He's been here before.
The water isn't as high as it was in Hurricane Harvey, but the damage is identical.
With poor drainage and no solution, he says he's had enough.
It's going to happen again, and there's really no use in rebuilding at this point until something changes.
But amongst the gutted homes and the lives turned upside down are bright spots. Hundreds of them.
That's a wonderful thing. Texans helping Texans.
Crews volunteering to clean up and start over.
Doesn't matter if it's 4 foot or 4 inches. You still have to rip everything out, and it's just sad seeing them having to go through this a second time.
Piece by piece, Texans working to rebuild their lives. In the meantime, holding on to those memories and each other.
You know, we can still be happy and grateful for what we do have because, you know, family and community is more important.
And guys, we've heard so many stories like that of heartbreak, of loss, but mostly of resilience and overcoming. I think that truly defines what Southeast Texas is all about. Reporting in Vidor tonight, I'm Chris Rogers, 12 News. Back to you. Well, Doug and Leslie, that video recording one of the most telling pieces of evidence yet. Mark Condit showing disturbing signs of a troubled young man, detailing how he manufactured each bomb. But one thing the 23-year-old did not discuss is why. Weeks of terror coming to an end in the early morning hours.
The suspect is deceased.
Police corner Mark Condit in Round Rock after the 23-year-old turned on his cell phone. And then, just after 2 a.m., the manhunt takes a dramatic twist.
Members of the Austin Police Department SWAT team approached the vehicle. The suspect detonated a bomb.
Daylight now shedding new light on who the suspect was as the focus of the investigation shifts to a bomb workshop inside his home in Pflugerville.
There's definitely components consistent with what we've seen in all these other devices.
His 2 roommates questioned by police but not yet under arrest. Tonight, his family reacting for the first time through a family friend.
The family is grieved both for their loss and also for the loss of those affected by these heinous actions.
As new details come out about the massive manhunt to track down an alleged killer.
We knew we were going to be able to apprehend him. We just didn't know when.
Investigators say exotic batteries ordered online from Asia tied the attacks together. And then Sunday, the 23-year-old makes a crucial mistake, caught on video in this FedEx store wearing a wig and white gloves.
It kind of alerted some witnesses that this seemed like it wasn't right, and some witnesses were able to identify the vehicle that he was in.
Finally, authorities say a cell phone found on the suspect had a 25-minute video recording in which the bomber described how he built each explosive device. Police say it amounts to a confession.
The suspect describes the 6 bombs that he constructed.
Neighbors now in shock.
Neighborhood kid. I always believed that he was very smart.
As a community can now breathe a sigh of relief. And Doug and Leslie, it is a sigh of relief in this community tonight, but still too soon to let down their guard entirely. Law enforcement is still warning people to stay vigilant.
Sandy, smile. You have the best smile.
They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and maybe that's true. But try telling that to Cindy and Kevin Favreau.
This is their own place.
The couple moved here from Las Vegas with one goal in mind.
We wanted to come someplace where we could kind of fulfill our retirement dream, which was to help animals. We had volunteered at the shelter there. We wanted to help animals that were not ones that most people scooped up from a shelter.
And so out there on their little slice of paradise they call Wolf Haven Farm, dozens of friends have come and gone on to their forever homes, their faces framed and remembered.
2-3 weeks, they're like socialized, happy, normal dogs, ready to go and ready to be adopted.
But then there are those that are here for good, old and forgotten, sick and nearing the end. The Favreaus bring them in to live out their twilight years, surrounded by love and happiness.
And we have to look at it like, well, they're going to come here and they're going to enjoy themselves for, the short time they might have left. And when they go, it's going to be sad, but at the same time, we've given them extra time and an enjoyable rest of their life until their last days.
Violet is shy and sweet. Her heart is failing. She's been here the longest.
Look at her making eye contact.
Cece loves to be loved. She's the star of the show. Hard to believe she came from hospice care 2 years ago.
Go!
They all have a story, a journey that led to a home. Bandit was owner surrendered when he reached old age.
And that's why we always say, how did these dogs wind up in the shelter anyways at 14, 15 years old? But they do.
Mabel loves to sniff and graze with the best of them, but when she arrived, she could barely walk.
She was falling like, 10 times an hour.
It's a calling that by its very nature has heartbreak built in.
You feel sorry for yourself. You're like, oh, I wish I could have had more time with them.
And soon enough, these dogs' time will come. For some, it already has.
That's Perry. He was with this whole gang. We had to have him euthanized on Christmas Eve.
But heartbreak is not nearly enough
Right.
to slow the Favreaus down.
We're not getting any younger, and there comes a point in your life where you say, I need to do something that makes a difference to somebody besides me. I mean, I've had a great life, but there came a point where I said, I need to start doing something, giving something back to this world. And I knew that with animals was where I wanted to take that thought.
They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and it turns out that's not so true. Because out here on Wolf Haven Farm, everyone can learn a little something about love and compassion, about the ups and downs, and about what it means to love and be loved back, if only for a fleeting moment. Because sometimes that's all it takes to learn a new trick.